Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday, and welcome to another episode of The Lock Shop. Nielsen and Hustler with you. As always, The Lock Shop every day of the week, presented to you by our wonderful partners at Coolbet. If you've not yet signed up for an account, it's very simple. Go to coolbet.com, sign up, use the code LOCKSHOP. A nice little bonus when you sign up to $200. It's a 100% deposit bonus, which is awesome, especially with huge CFL action today. Banjo Bowl coming up, and then, damn it, we got a lot of NFL football tomorrow, Huss.
Yeah, man, this is, as I said before, if you take out long weekends, I will put this weekend, at least up around these parts, up against any weekend of the year. The return of the National Football League, and of course, today for CFL fans, huge game here in Winnipeg, and a triple header. Coming off, I got to give a quick shout out to the Montreal Alouettes for giving us a nice, easy, no sweat, but cash, our cool bet pick of the day yesterday. But yeah, 3-down football, some college today. Check out the Coolbet exclusive. Pat and Jake have a neat one. I'll be honest, I haven't dove too much into college football. They have, though, so I was more than willing to ride with Pat and Jake's Coolbet exclusive today to have a little something going on. But let's face it, we're going to get through this football game this afternoon at IG Field, and then it is all about kickoff tomorrow, a full week one slate in the National Football League.
We've got lots coming your way here on sort of Parlay Saturday. We're going to talk about some parlays. Maybe we've already locked in. We're going to give you the partner parlay, myself, Huss, each bringing in a pick, and then we're going to talk through our third pick, get you one there. I've got a little parlay going with some point totals that I've teased around a little bit. We got some touchdown scores that you can parlay if you want, or you can just go with them straight up. So, Huss, we've got a lot to get to. Before we get to the partner parlay, I mean, your card's probably already full of parlays. You got anything that you want to share? What do you got on the go?
Well, you know, I mean, like we've been kind of chopping up over the last few days, this is a really tough week. I mean, there's not a lot of huge spreads. I mean, 7 is pretty much the biggest number, and most of those are on road teams. And we've seen teams like that fall all the time. So, I mean, and I'll be very interested, just on an aside, how survivor picks go this week. I mean, I have a 6-game parlay with some of the biggest favorites. And, you know, you've got Indy at minus 333. These are all money line numbers against the Texans. At the Niners at minus 303 at the Bears. Bengals minus 278 against the Steelers. Ravens minus 312 against the Jets. Chiefs minus 250 against the Cardinals. And the Broncos minus 270 against Seattle. That basically gets you to 5-1 plus 496. Now, I have bet this, but my question is, I'm just staring this going, who's screwing this up? Which is the team that's going to lose as like a 5, 6, 7 point favorite? And it probably does happen. The teams that made me the most nervous, the more that I dove into it, are San Francisco, even though I'm big on San Francisco. I mean, there is a scenario where Trey Lance struggles in the first half. Chicago gets a big, jolt to start the season, and Justin Fields does well. And, the Bears somehow squeak out this game. And I'll be honest, I am still skeptical about Indy overall, just the way they finished last year. And I know they put it all on Carson Wentz, but does Matt Ryan just turn that around right away? I'm not so sure. And maybe the Texans are better than everyone expects. That is maybe
that might be the one that worries me a little bit from that group of 6. Yeah.
So I did also do a 4-gamer, and this one I basically took those teams out. So we've got Cincinnati, we've got the Ravens, we've got the Saints, and we've got the Chiefs. That one's at plus 262. Obviously a little bit less because you're taking those other games out. That one I feel pretty good about. So I'm sitting there with the plus 262 4-gamer money line. The Saints, I guess, would be the shortest favorite at minus 227, then Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and the Ravens. And right now, I mean, I may pop in a couple of other games that I do like. I'm looking to get and we're going to get into our partner parlay in a second.
Yeah.
The Chargers are a team that I think, at a certain point when we're doing picks like this, I mean, you really have to put a bunch of games in if you're going for minus 300 or minus 250 favorites. So we certainly wanted to get a little closer. I do have the Vikings in our picks against the spread, and the Vikings are plus 100 on the money line. So I'm considering that. And I do like the Jags at plus 119. But we'll get to the Jags a little bit later on. They're involved in one of my touchdown score props that we'll be laying down for this week. What about you?
Well, I usually don't lock in any of my parlays till Saturday night or Sunday morning. So I usually sit down Sunday morning and probably hit up like 3 or 4 different 3, 4, or 5 game parlays. So I don't know. It's basically since I started betting 12, 13, 14 years ago. It's always been a Sunday morning thing for me. So I usually don't move on those too much, but we've got a ton to get to today here, obviously, with the partner parlay. And you kind of already hit on that, Huss. So like, let's just set up where we're at right now. Right now, just this 2-game parlay plays 123. Now we're going to add a third pick to it, and it's going to bump that number up quite a bit. But you said just moments ago you're on the Chargers here, money line minus 182 on our 3-game partner parlay. You're going to be able to find this as a special over at Cool Bet. So we'll tweet it out obviously when it's posted. I'm with you on the Chargers here, but what's your main reason behind it, Huss?
Well, I mean, let's face it. The last time we saw the Chargers, they were throwing up all over themselves at the end of the fourth quarter in a game that both teams needed to tie to make the playoffs. And, they didn't get there. I really do think talent-wise, the Chargers are, one of the top teams in the league, and they're healthy right now. Now, listen, it just seems, and I don't want to curse them or anything like that, although maybe this would be reversing the curse. They always have some bad injuries and they deal with it. They're not dealing with it right now. I mean, Derwin James is there. Bosa is there. They bring in Khalil Mack. I mean, I really do think the Chargers are ready for a statement game. But the fact that they're playing the Raiders in Josh McDaniels' first game as head coach at home after the Rams just lost on Thursday, this is a huge chance for the Chargers to sort of establish themselves as one of the favorites in the AFC and make a big statement in the AFC West. And we've been talking about these divisional games in all the divisions, but especially the AFC West. So I think this is a make good game for the Chargers. I think that they are better than the Raiders, but I'll be honest, the 3.5 number, which is now at even money, makes me a bit nervous. I mean, I absolutely think that this could be a close game. So if we're going with a money line, obviously I wanted to get something under minus 200. This is the game that I sort of like the most in that area that I think might be the safest to throw in. So I like Chargers to get it going. Probably a big offensive day. And maybe you hit on the Saints before we get to the other ones.
I kind of laid out on Friday's episode how much I like the Saints against the Falcons. They were 5.5-point favorites on the road. I love them to do that. So easy pick for me on the money line. I couldn't get away from it at minus 227. I think the Saints are absolutely going to roll in this football game. I will be stunned and, to be honest with you, devastated if this one ruins the partner parlay. So I'm on the Saints minus 227. I just think Jameis with a Saints offense now that has its weapons back and ready to go. I think it could be a very good offense, and their defense could very well just win them this football game by themselves anyway against an Atlanta offense that really doesn't have anything going for it. So I'm 100% on the Saints minus 227. Huss is on the Chargers minus 182. If you just want to stop there, if you just want to settle for that, you do get plus 123 on this, Huss. But who do you like as a possible third play in this partner parlay?
Well, I've got 2 options for you, and they're sort of different. One would be a much bigger favorite, and one is actually an outright money line underdog. If we want to play it a little more safe, we throw the Chiefs on there, I think. Now, the Chiefs opened up at 3.5 or 4. Sharp money blasted that right away, and it's now sitting in and around at 6. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs run away with this one, but again, I'm wearing a Patrick Mahomes sweatshirt, so take it for what it's worth. I do like them to win the game, though, and if we add minus 250 to that, we get it to plus 212. The other option, and this would be certainly a more roll of the dice one, is to take the Jacksonville Jaguars money line at Washington at plus 119. I'm fascinated by this Washington team to see how things go. I mean, I think they sort of had to settle for Carson Wentz. And, man, the last time we saw Carson Wentz, speaking of imploding, he was basically, throwing picks all the way to a ridiculous final 2 games where they somehow missed the playoffs after being essentially about a 98% chance to make it with 2 weeks left. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a great season. I think Doug Peterson's a competent coach. And I do think that the Commanders, as they're now known, are sort of set up for probably a pretty disappointing year. So if we wanted to jump on the Jags, who, by the way, are just 2.5-point underdogs, I mean, this is basically telling you that on a neutral field, the Jags are a slight favorite. And I'm here to tell you right now, the fans of Washington hate their organization, their owner. Most of them probably can't stand their new quarterback before he's even played a game. So I'm not sure there's going to be a great atmosphere, a big home field advantage for Washington when they take on the Jags in this game. So a couple of options. Certainly I like the Chiefs. And hell, if we wanted to put them both on while we're talking about it, we would get up to plus 584. So there are your options for me. What were you thinking for that third game in addition to the Saints and Chargers?
I had two. One was even a little bit of a bigger favorite than the Chiefs. I had the Bengals at minus 278. Would not mind putting them on there. I also had the Chiefs. Those are the two that I had written down. I had the Bengals minus 278, the Chiefs minus 250. But you have put together a pretty convincing argument here for the Jags. You know, and I'm a risky boy myself, Huss. Like, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a super sweat. I feel good about the Saints. I mean, I like the Chargers. I think that'll be a good game. I'm going to come back around to that game in a second here on something else that we got going on today. So, I mean, we both didn't mind the Chiefs, so we could do that. Or if you wanted to expand it in week 1 to a 4-gamer, we can certainly do that as well. So,
Listen, okay, let's put the Chiefs on it. So we've got that one locked in. Those are our 3 money line favorites plus 212. And if you would like to get a little aggressive with the lock shop boys, you can make that one. I will be doing it. And as I say, we go from 212 to plus 584 by throwing the Jags on that ticket as well. So maybe a little extra sprinkle with the addition of a Trevor Lawrence chaser, if you will, to our first three shots that were taken on week 1 of the NFL season.
Yeah, so let's officially lock in the partner parlay at plus 212. But then let's make it, sort of you're right, the Trevor Lawrence chaser that bumps it up. What was that number again, Huss?
Plus 584 with the Jags. And the Jags right now are plus 119 on the money line, 2.5-point underdogs.
All right, there we go. So but we'll send this one. We should send this one a cool bet, eh? Or do you want to fire Lawrence on there? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I think that this is one. It's, I mean, obviously a little more chalky, but I think at the start of the season, it's probably the way we want to go. Mm-hmm. But as I said, maybe there's a second option. Add Jags at the bottom of it with the lock shop parlay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to be on both of these right now. I've just locked in our 3-gamer. And then adding in the Jags at plus 584, which is nice. Even if you just want to throw an extra 20 on that, if it comes through, pays 136.
Yeah, that's a good bump. That's a really good bump. So there you go. A couple of different options with the partner parlay. Before we get to some touchdown scores, and we are going to get to some touchdown scores here as well. You can parlay those as well over at CoolBet. Once again, the Lock Shop brought to you by CoolBet. I like to do this as we work our way through the years. I take some of these totals and I adjust them 4 or 5 points one way or the other and work it into a parlay. So I've got a plus 253 kind of 4/5 point teaser parlay. So you just go into the individual games, click on the point total, and you can usually get it anywhere from 4 to 5 more or less than what it's currently set at. So these are 3 games that I've adjusted the totals on. I adjusted the Raiders and Chargers down to 48.5 and took the over. So that's a 4-point adjustment on that game. I think it sits at 52.5 right now. So you can take the Chargers and the Raiders over 48.5. I took Miami and New England. I bumped it up 5 points to 51.5. Took the under on it at 51.5. So Miami and New England under 51.5. And then San Francisco, Chicago, I bumped it up and then took the under on 44.5. So that was a 4-point swing as well. So it's Chargers, Raiders over 48.5. Miami, New England under 51.5, and then San Francisco and Chicago under 44.5, and that puts it at plus 253 if you want to hop on that one with those 3 games. The San Francisco Chicago one, you kind of mentioned a little bit early on being a little bit worried about the Niners. Like, I'm pretty confident the Bears offense isn't going to do much, and if Trey Lance struggles even in the first half, that's going to knock the overall number down. I've already adjusted it up, so I like it at under 44.5.
Yeah, I mean, that game, I'm just looking at the totals right now. Far and away the lowest total on the board.
Yeah.
40.5 is the number right now. So, and let's see, what's the the Bears team total is 16.5 in the game, and the Niners 23.5. It's funny. It's perfectly 7 points between those two, and it adds up to 40 on the nose, and they've got 40.5 as the number so far. So it'll be that'll be neat. I will get on with that with you. You should throw that over to the Cool Bet folks and see if they can throw that up as the Dusty's teased total parlay.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. I could throw that up there too. All right, and then let's get into our touchdown scores, and we're gonna do this for you every Saturday as well, and we'll get into some more player props as they become available throughout the season. But you can parlay these touchdown scores as long as they're on different teams, and that's different games, I guess I should say. And Huss, that's what we've got today. You got two guys. I got three guys. It's plus 519, plus 672. Nice way to cash in on week one here.
Well, for sure. And you know what? Not to Barry Horowitz ourselves too much, but the TD scores in game number one came through like right away. Gabe Davis for me, like 6 minutes into the game, and Josh Allen with the game that he had was absolutely phenomenal. He got in there as well.
You know, I'll quickly add on top of that, Huss. As we were having that conversation, you're like, I like Gabe Davis here. And I was like, give me a Josh Allen TD. And you also said, you know what? Your boy Isaiah McKenzie's actually paying this. And he had a touchdown as well. So like an unofficial 3 for 3.
Yeah, a little plus 275 for Isaiah McKenzie. So listen, I mean, I'm looking at some guys I think have, half decent matchups and certainly get the target share. And, T. Higgins is not the guy for the Cincinnati Bengals, but I think
he could
be attention that the Steelers and whoever's playing Cincinnati has to give first and foremost Jamar Chase and then Joe Mixon makes T. Higgins a sneaky guy to have some big plays and get into the end zone more often than not. So Higgins is plus 125 for an anytime TD score. I like him there. And then we're going to go to this Jags game. And I am fascinated. I'm in on this guy from a fantasy perspective. I picked him in a number of drafts and I'm starting him, is Christian Kirk. Now, I know there was a lot of talk about, man, they went and they paid him $20 million. Like, how desperate are they? This guy's not a $20 million receiver. And you can feel that way if you want. But I'll tell you what, if a team is paying a guy $20 million to come in and clearly be the top guy, who they got, Marvin Jones and Zay Jones are your other two receivers. It's kind of reason why I like Evan Engram over the course of this season, to be honest, as well. But Christian Kirk is going to be the guy that's going to get so much action from Trevor Lawrence. And from all accounts, they've had some good connections through the preseason. Time to show out. Plus 175 for a Christian Kirk touchdown. I like that. Put those two together. We got plus 519. And the other guy, I didn't put this on, but I do think, and this sort of goes back to our picks yesterday, I'm on New England plus 3.5. I think this will be a tight game. Damian Harris, who there's not a lot of hype after the season he had. I know there's a lot of people that are liking Ramondre Stevenson. He seems to be a guy that Bill Belichick trusts in and around the goal line. And plus 112, he's another guy that I think I'll have. And I may even just add him to this parlay and jack it up above 10-1. But the two ones I'll throw out for the show officially and put it together: T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, 125 and 175 separately. And if you want to hit them both, plus 519 on a quick 2 individual touchdown parlay.
I couldn't stay away from the Saints on mine, considering I'm on them in pretty much every other aspect of this thing. So I got Alvin Kamara just minus 143. Not a ton of value there if you're gonna stand alone bet it, but throw it into the parlay. It's not that bad a look. So I got Kamara at minus 143. I laid it out on Friday's episode of the Lock Shop how good the Baltimore Ravens are when they're in 2 tight end sets, and how brutal the Jets have been in the past defending against two tight end sets. So I think there's a big day coming from Mark Andrews. And when Mark Andrews has a big day, it usually ends in the end zone at least once for him. So that's plus money at plus 102 for Mark Andrews. And then I am going to go with Mike Williams. Kind of how you laid out the case for T. Higgins. We know what Mike Williams does in an offense that is absolutely, should be insane for the Chargers. And last year, usually Mike Williams, before he gets banged up, is sensational. He had 6 touchdowns in his first 6 games last season. So bet on him to start red hot again. I'm going to go in what I have is a rather high scoring affair. I'm going to go with Mike Williams plus 125. So Kamara, Mark Andrews, and Mike Williams all to get a touchdown pays plus 672 if you're looking for a touchdown score parlay.
I love the Mike Williams pick. I'm sad that I didn't think of it myself. And as I throw Christian Kirk on, I'm just going to quickly check out that game because as much as I could add Damian Harris, we had Mike Williams. We had Mike Williams to Christian Kirk and T. Higgins, and we get plus 1292. Just saying.
Wow. The wide receiver extravaganza. I like it.
There could be a little sprinkle on that too. I love bringing Mike Williams to the table. And obviously having the Chargers with our money line parlay, they're going to need to score some points, even though we don't need them to cover. I don't think you didn't take that game yesterday in our picks, did you? The Chargers?
Nope. No, I did not. No, they weren't. I can't wait to watch that game. I was a little scared on that 3.5, but I can't wait to watch that game. It should be one of the more entertaining games of the weekend. So there you go. That's Parlay Saturday with the Lock Shop as the NFL gets set to fire up, follow up, I guess, on the Thursday Nighter, which was a good time for the Lock Shop. So hopefully we're able to hit that as well. If you've been watching on the live stream here, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Just search the Lock Shop on all of your podcasting platforms. We will have another episode on Monday, kind of quick recap of Sunday, and then most importantly, a focus on Monday Night Football. We'll be back with the Fantasy Football Extravaganza on Tuesday. We'll have some CFL picks on Wednesday, Thursday Night Football. I mean, it's around the clock, Huss.
Well, it's back. We are back. Everyone is back. And if you are not back but new, don't forget promo code LOCKSHOP, 100% bonus up to $200 on your first deposit. Best deal around and best time of year to do exactly that. And listen, the Monday show is going to be awesome. Obviously, we'll go through some of the wins and losses over the course of the weekend. And then hopefully we'll at least save 5 or 10 minutes to talk about how corny Russell Wilson is. Broncos country. Let's ride. Let's ride. Did you see that video of him going up for practice yesterday, practicing high-fiving guys out of the tunnel? Like, I don't know how. I was talking to some Seattle fans, and they're like, he was never this weird in Seattle, man. But, hey, heck of a quarterback, and that's going to be a fun game to talk about and watch on Monday night. But first things first, Banjo Bowl, great CFL action today, college football, and then the full slate tomorrow. All the Coolbet exclusives, including what we've got cooking up at the Lock Shop, will be at Coolbet. Click on Coolbet specials, and then you'll see Coolbet exclusive options, and we'll even see if we can get these juiced up a little bit before they get posted.
That would be terrific. Enjoy the rest of your football weekend, everybody. Lock Shop will be back with you on Monday for Huss. I'm Nielsen. Good luck, and we'll talk to you then.